Hello.
Hello.
Morning everyone, and we're here on a Saturday morning to provide you with your easy to do weekend hairdo. So let's get to the style, and today's style will be Chic Mohawk number 4. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and prep her hair, which I haven't done. So that just basically consists of the usual, some hair product, untangling. So I'm just going to lightly add some hair product to her hair and get to the parting for our Chic Mohawk. Now the second step of just parting, and when we part, we're just going to go ahead and make the linings from the front of her crown to the back, and we're going to leave the midway section parted separately. So basically in all, we're doing 3 tiers. So we're going to go ahead and part it from the left side down from crown to back end, and then from the opposite side from the front crown to the back end. So let's get to the parting. And you want to make sure that you leave a decent amount in the midsection of her hair. Okay, so we've done that step, and as you can see, the midsection is just sectioned off by a more chunkier bulk of hair than the side 2 ends. So that's precisely how you want the style to be parted. And we're going to go ahead and just add some hair product to make sure we catch all her flyaways. And it is crucial to make sure that this midsection hair is all nice and tidy together, so that way it doesn't get combined with any of the hair on the sides that we'll be actually incorporating into braids. So just tying up her hair. Her hair is pretty long, so I'm just going to throw a nice little clamp on it just to make sure it's nice and tidy. So just folded it up some and throwing on a nice clamp. So we have the 2 side ends nice and separated. Adding some hair product, and then we're going to go ahead to the next step, which is just to start the parting itself for this intricate style for cornrows that we'll be doing on the side of her head. So I'm actually going to have her turn into this direction for you guys to give a better view. And I'm going to go ahead and start. So basically what you want to do is you want to make ziggly lines. Basically what you want to do is make zigzag lines, which is pretty easy, or swivel lines. Swivel lines don't have such a sharp swivel lines obviously don't have a sharp end to them, such as the zigzag line. They're more of a swivel, nice and curved. So it's basically to each his own. I'm going to go ahead with the swivel, and I'm just going to start from the top of her earlobe, swiveling inward and swiveling outward. So as you can see, I just made her front end swivel. I'm going to have her hold that piece of hair. And then I'm going to start from the top, as you can see, and just kind of making an S formation at that top parting. I'm actually going to take that bottom part and just Do it once more. So now we have this swivel, and I'm going to take this side and just wrap it around just to keep it nice and separated. And then I'm going to twist this up so it does the same. I'm actually going to connect the bottom with this, and I'm going to make my final braid parting. So this would basically consist of just from her earlobe back end, making a nice little swoop. So ear end back, earlobe back to back end, just a nice little swoop. And then I'm going to get my hair product, and I'm going to go ahead and just get some of these flyaways situated nice and tidy and together. With an elastic band, then after applying some hair product onto the separated parts, just get an elastic band and loosely, so it's easy to access and just pull off when you're ready to go ahead and cornrow. Just tie the elastic band onto each of those parts. Now this top one is pretty secured, wrapped around that midsection clamp. But okay guys, so as you can see, I started my two first cornrows for this half, and I'm going to go ahead and just continue on with my next one, removing that elastic band that separated this particular part. Adding a little bit of hair product. And you'll be certain to figure out which maneuvers to go about as far as direction-wise of the cornrow itself based on the layout and the design pattern. And of course, it happens, so if you just see after, completing the cornrow that it's better off in the opposite end or another direction, period, then you just simply undo and redo in that preferred direction. Being that it's the weekend and we have some more time to spare, it's definitely an ideal thing to try out or style to try out on a weekend due to that factor. And once mastered and accomplished in this particular style, Mohawk Chic number 4 is what I'm considering it today, then definitely go ahead by all means and give it a go for an easy to do school hairdo. So I'm just double stitching with this finished cornrow and grabbing that elastic band and going ahead with just getting it wrapped around this cornrow end. And we have one more braid remaining, so I'm going to get to it with that, and then we'll move on to our next step. Bend your head, please. Thank you very much. Now guys, I do want to mention that this is the first time as far as creating this style and doing it myself. So as you can see, I'm just figuring out which directions the cornrows would be best placed as we go along with this hairstyle. So this is definitely a learning experience as well as an easy to do style, I must say, with just this being the first time of me actually creating the style and doing it. Double stitching, getting my elastic band to tie around that end of my cornrow, my last cornrow for this side, and in general. Now, alternative that I'm just seeing just from just standing with the completed two-side looks of being completely cornrowed is that I'm seeing it'll be a nice and alternative of a style if you just go ahead and take those two sections even that have been braided, that have been cornrowed, and just go ahead and combine it with that midsection into a nice loose French braid. That's an alternative definitely to take into consideration or to try yourself at any time. But if you're preferring to have that finished mohawk look, then stick with me for my next step. And as you can see, I'm just undoing that midsection hair that we had tied. And I'm going to add some hair product, because we definitely want a more polished look for this style, and we want to try and capture all those flyaways. So now what we're going to begin doing, once you have that product applied and those flyaways or any loose strands of hair more manageable and tamed, you're going to go ahead and make your parts as so. So I'm actually just going to give a little twist to her so you can see exactly what I'm referring to. And we're going to start from the front end, making your lines across. And there's no specific placing for this, so you just want to make sure that when you create these lines, not only are they straight and just going in across direction as so, but you just want to make sure they're even with that lining, and when parted, that the bulks of hair parted are as even as possible. Adding a little bit more hair product, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the two front cornrows. As you can see, are the nearest cornrows that would be more fit and suitable wherever they're laid out and finished at the ends, to be placed and combined with the front ends. So as you can see, those three cornrows are best suitable to be tied together and combined at this front end, just from the way they're laid out. And now with the elastic bands, I'm going to double up, because you definitely want this to be nice and lasting long throughout the day. snug. You're going to repeat this step for the remaining hair of the midsection. So I'm just going to continue on with this repeated step. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the next step because that's completed. And we're going to go ahead and get some elastic bands to the side. Okay guys, so we completed that midsection of the parting and colliding the braids that are laid out specifically where we made our parts and sections at very nicely and tightly, as you can see. So it's nice and tidy and well put together. So we're going to go ahead with the next step, being that everything looks up to par. And you're going to take the first bulk of hair at the front, and you're going to go ahead and just split it into two, that ponytail that it makes. And you want the back end actually to have just a little bit more hair, just a tad bit more thicker than the front end. I know it's probably a little bit of a challenge, being that it's put so much hair to begin with. But try and possibly make the parting as I did, to where the back end is just a little bit more thicker than the front end. So you go ahead and you just let that linger to the front. You take the back end, and now you go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and combine it with one elastic band to that part. So you're going to do exactly what I did, the steps that I just did, and then you're going to take that front end and we're going to tease it. And this is going to create the body of the hair, that bulky look that's going to give this Chic Mohawk number 4, which I'm considering it as, the nice apparable, bulky, big, you know, bold statement that Mohawks give in general. So as you can see, it's nice and teased, and I'm just going to gather it because we don't want it to be all flyaways everywhere. We just want it to be nice and, you know, nice body to it. So then I'm going to go ahead and with one elastic band, combine it. When I combine it, I'm actually holding it, as you can see, to where I have enough bulk. It's nice and bulked up to my liking, and it's not too subtle and flat back. The bulk is what makes this bold hairstyle Chic number 4, as well as the intricate cornrows at the sides. So I'm going to go ahead and start I'm just going to pull out more than necessary because you can always adjust it. And we just want to keep that body at the front and throughout the midsection as much as possible, and pull lightly. So as you can see, we created this nice bulky look at the side. This way, please. And then you're just going to go ahead and you're going to repeat that step for the remaining of her hair. So now that we have more of a thick section for the second ponytail, we're just going to go ahead. Remember, the front end of the ponytail, you just want to have it less of an amount of hair than this remaining back end. And just repeat the steps I just did. So we're going to have this to the side, so everything stays nice and tidy. Bend your head, please. Thank you. And just combine this with one elastic band. Now this is a little bit more thick, so I'm going to have to actually give it 3 wraps around. And if you need to adjust like I do, go ahead and do so now, before you go ahead and tease this amount of hair. And so I'm just going to go ahead, just teasing with a standard comb, nothing fancy, easy to do. behind your head. So as you can see, we just made that the tiers at the midpoint center of her hair, combining it with one elastic band and doubling up as we get to the thicker portions of the ponytail and it back to the end, because we definitely want durability. So you just double up at these three remaining, but you use one elastic band for those four parts at the front. And just teasing up the front layer, but with the exception of the bottom, you just want to tease entirely because it's not as thick as a portion of hair. And as I mentioned, you know, everything just comes naturally as far as some hairstyles, with the exception of some that I do get inspiration from other hairdos. But majority of the time, it's just me creating as I go. So thank you for bearing with me as I contemplated on how to go about. But definitely, as you can see, the outcome is more than rewarding. And all in all, the hairstyle is definitely an expression of art. So definitely, if you want to just have something easy to do for the weekend, I definitely would recommend you doing it beforehand when you have that leisure of time. And by all means, you get it nice and accomplished in that polished look. So where you get the whole style down pat, go ahead and give it a go for an easy to do school hairdo. And we'll see you guys for our final clip.